I remember the first time I came across the story, I was so emotional and I was angry as well, because how could this have happened? And how could this person be a victim of, circumstances that by right he should have had discernment for? What is the character of that person that is giving you something that is contrary to what God has given to you? What are the fruits that this person is showing? Is this person displaying the fruits of the spirit, or is this person displaying, the fruits of the flesh? What are the results that this person has? So in the book of 1 Kings chapter 13, we read about a prophet that was sent to King Jeroboam. King Jeroboam had been doing a lot of things that were against God, and he sent this prophet to go and warn him and also give him signs and tell him what is to come. One thing I want you to learn from this story is God is not a God of confusion. The prophet gets there, he talks to Jeroboam, and Jeroboam, out of anger, tries to get the prophet killed or whatever. Something happened. Arm that he lifted became paralyzed. It was so interesting to see that Jeroboam, in as much as he was not happy to hear what God had said, he still knew that this man is a man of God, and he asked the man to pray for his healing. Jeroboam, out of excitement that he's gotten his healing, invites the prophet to his palace, and the prophet said, "No, I have a clear instruction from God to neither eat bread nor water from here, neither should I return the same way I came." Very clear. Now there were two sons of another prophet. They go home, they tell their father what had happened. So this prophet in Bethel was able to convince this prophet that had already done the signs, the wonders, and was already on his way. He goes and he tells him, "Oh, come with me, come back to Bethel with me, come and eat, come and rest." And the prophet said, "No, I have instructions from God to not do this." This prophet from Bethel tells that, "Oh no, don't worry, God spoke to me and said you should come and rest in my house." At the end of the day, you go and read the story for yourself. You see that because of that disobedience, this man lost his life. Why I said I was angry is that how could this happen? And how could this old prophet of Bethel lie, but he was never penalized? It made me understand something. Some of us have instructions from God, but because of our circumstances, because of people around us, we tend to forget what God has initially told us. For example, the year is still young, and some of us have clear instructions from God to do X, Y, Z, but a lot of times we let other people to override us without asking. He's not a God of confusion. The old prophet is saying, "God told me again that you should come." Why didn't this other prophet say, "Okay, I need to inquire of the Lord again," to hear, okay, he has changed his mind? But he didn't. He just believed what he said and he just ran with it. And what that story also made me understand is that no matter where you are in your walk with God, God deals with us personally. God could have said, "Okay, it's because of this prophet that you heard, I will forgive you." He was punished because I was the one that gave you the instruction. Why is somebody else's instruction overriding what I had told you initially? Another thing is the spirit of deception is everywhere. Somebody can be in a high office that you really respect, does not mean that whatever the person tells you is from God. How do you deal with that? You go and inquire of the Lord. For example, there's a decision that I just jumped into and I had to catch myself in the middle. I had already gotten started and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even ask what God wants me to do with this thing. I just started doing what I thought was right." And I had to now trace my step back and say, no, God, I want your instruction on this because I want your okay. And if it's not an okay, then I will shut it down. It's so important that you inquire of God. Instructions can come from people around you, but it is so important that when you are running and you have instruction from God, anything that overrides that, you should be sure the office that that person is occupying. If I were to be that prophet, and who knows, maybe I couldn't have, but if it were me in the prophet's shoe, hearing that an old prophet was now being instructed that I should go back with him, I think I would question his character. This person that is giving you instruction that seem to be in misalignment from what God has instructed you to do. What office is that person occupying? What kind of relationship does that person have with God? And I'm saying this from the context of when you have an instruction from God to do something. If this prophet so much so had his life right with God, was in alignment with God, and King Jeroboam was misbehaving, why didn't God talk to this prophet in Bethel to go and warn King Jeroboam? Why did he have to bring a prophet from another place? When you are aligned to God's will, you are safe. As you can see, that prophet, when he was, giving the instruction that God had given to him to Jeroboam, Jeroboam could not do anything as long as the prophet was in the will of God. You looked at this prophet. This is a prophet that is an old prophet. He's been in Bethel since Jeroboam has been misbehaving. God did not give him instructions for Jeroboam, but now God is giving him instruction for you. You did not question those instructions. So there's nothing wrong with seeking counsel from people, but be careful. God has told you this year, start this business. It might look like in that place where you want to start the business, it's not really a profitable environment. What are people going to do with this? But God has given you the instruction. Start this business. Start it. You go and ask for somebody else's opinion. The person is telling you, somebody have even started this business before. It did not work. Don't start it. And all of a sudden you say, let me just follow this person. Who is overriding God's instruction to you? Is it friends? Is it pressure? God has told you that, okay, you might have access to this authority or this person in your life, but don't abuse it. And that person might not even be a great person of character, but God has instructed you, serve under this person. It might not even make sense, but God is the one that gave you that instruction. And now you are letting somebody else tell you what to do. I think it's even absolute disrespect to God, to the person of who God is, because not only are you ignoring what He has told you, you refuse to even go back and say, God, this person is talking, what do I do with this instruction? You just run off with it.